Hey everybody, welcome back to another Jackson Jet Setting Cruise video. Today I'm telling you what you need to know before sailing on Royal Caribbean's Oasis of the Seas. Oasis class ships are some of the most sought after ships to book that Royal Caribbean is currently sailing, so I'm here to give you the best tips, tricks, and insider secrets I learned before stepping on board. So let's get going, but before we do, if you like this type of cruise content, please subscribe to our channel, give this video a like, and leave us a comment. It really helps us out. So the first thing you should know is that Oasis of the Seas was launched in 2009 as the very first Oasis class ship built by Royal Caribbean, hence the name of the class, so it's currently 14 years old. My cruise on Oasis was in December 2022, and it was my first time on board an Oasis class ship. And to be honest, I knew it was going to be a different type of ship than what I was used to sailing. I used to call them double wides because they're essentially twice the width of the Voyager and Freedom class ships, so they cram a ton on board, but have a lot more decks of cabins compared to the Freedom class. The Oasis has 2,796 cabins versus 2012 on the Freedom of the Seas. If you want a full tour of the ship, you can check out our Oasis of the Seas full ship tour, which we'll note down below. And if you like our full thoughts on the ship, you can check out our review video there as well. Even more importantly, Oasis of the Seas underwent a $165 million renovation in 2019 that completely revitalized the ship. Royal Caribbean calls this amplification, and it's taken a lot of things that have been working on some of the newer ships that they've built to fit them on board their older ships. So added during this amplification were the new panoramic suites, the ultimate abyss dry slide, portside barbecue, which is Royal Caribbean's first barbecue restaurant at sea, and of course that is an extra charge, and a few other things including refreshing the whole ship. Next, if you're sailing on Oasis of the Seas in the near future, it's sailing from a number of different ports, including Cape Liberty and Bayonne, New Jersey, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and even Rome and Barcelona over in Europe. I got to sail from the newish Terminal A in Port of Miami. That's Royal Caribbean's custom-built terminal that opened a few years ago, and it's pretty fantastic and really makes the onboarding of thousands and thousands of people every week super seamless. Once you've booked your cruise, you'll want to download the Royal Caribbean app if you haven't already. You can plan a lot of your cruise before you leave home, and you'll be rewarded with discounts on most of your activities for doing so, including beverage packages, unlimited dining, short excursions, and even arcade credits. I've focused my pre-bookings around sale periods like Black Friday or Cyber Monday, where I've nabbed serious savings. You can check in for your cruise 45 days in advance on the app, and it makes your arrival super easy and quick. I've been on board the ship in less than 30 minutes from the port arrival, but on a ship as big as Oasis of the Seas, booking things in advance is absolutely essential in my opinion. So I recommend taking advantage of the sales as part of your planning process. Seriously, I would not get on board the Oasis of the Seas unless you have pre-planned a lot of your activities, because things just get so slammed and busy with how many people are on board. So once you're on board, I'll detail some of my favorite things to do here. First, I like to get on the ship as early as possible on sail away day, as there's so many fun things to do on board, and it is a part of your vacation, so make use of that for sure. I just think that any hour that you're not on board is an hour that you're wasting and an hour that you paid for. Once on board, make any restaurant recommendations that you haven't already made. I really do recommend that you make those before you get on board, but if you do walk on board and they happen to have some reservations still available, a lot of times they will offer like up to a 50% discount for that first night. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely take advantage. If you or your family are into water slides or the flow rider, I was really impressed with the water slides on Oasis of the Seas, but the lines got incredibly long on any of the sea days. So take advantage of those early opening of the water slides on embarkation day and ride to your heart's content. Definitely if you have kids and they're going to want to ride it over and over again, and get a lot of slides done during that first day. The ship includes like a toilet bowl style slide, which is pretty unique and a lot of fun. And if you want to surf on the flow rider, I highly recommend jumping in line on this day as well. While dedicating some time to the water slides may make the Windjammer buffet a little busy when you're done with and you're ready for your first lunch on board, the Park Cafe in Central Park is also an included option in your cruise and will be a lot less crowded on embarkation day, and it has a few more healthy options than the Windjammer in my opinion. When it is time to dine outside of embarkation day, I do have a few tips on board. Oasis of the Seas features a Windjammer Cafe and a main dining room like other ships across the Royal Caribbean's fleet. If you're using My Time Dining, be sure to reserve your times you want in advance. You can do that every night of your vacation once you're connected to the ship's Wi-Fi in the app. So you don't need to buy an internet plan to do that. You just connect to the Wi-Fi and the app is going to work for you. The wait times can get crazy for tables, especially if you're not able or willing to share a table with another party. So I like to pick at least one specialty dining meal as well each trip, and the Oasis of the Seas has a ton of them. It was my first time dining at 150 Central Park when I was on board, which I really enjoyed over Chop's Grill, the other steakhouse style restaurant. Another great option for a light snack that's extra is Vintages, which has some really great tapas style eats. I do have a few favorite bars on board as well, and a few disappointments, unfortunately. So normally one of my favorite bars on any Royal Caribbean ship is the Schooner Bar. You've seen it in some of my other tips videos. I mentioned I love the nautical theme. It just really makes me feel like I'm on a cruise ship. They do have one on board, the Oasis of the Seas, but unfortunately it's crammed into a small location on the second floor of the Royal Promenade. And while they do host trivia here, it's open to the rest of the Royal Promenade and can get really loud, and it's pretty hard to find a seat just because of the size. The Bionic Bar is something that is really heavily advertised by Royal Caribbean as well, and it is a cool gimmick, but honestly I didn't like the cocktails that were on their menu, and so the novelty was kind of a one and done for me, though it is still pretty technologically amazing that they can make a cocktail with a robot, but I also like a bartender cocktail too. I like Playmaker's location on the boardwalk on the Oasis of the Seas, and since it was open air and we had nice weather on the trip, we did find ourselves hanging out there a lot. Vintages also had a great bartender that made the experience really great, and anytime that happens, you know, it's magic. And I really do love the atmosphere of Central Park where the Vintages is. As far as entertainment goes, Oasis of the Seas has dozens of things to do throughout the ship. For me, my favorite space was the music hall, which was new to me, being the first time on Oasis class ship. It had game shows, cover bands, and a really cool view down the boardwalk. It was also my first time seeing a show in the Aqua Theater. I was really excited for this, and while it was a bit of a hassle trying to see the show because we had choppy weather that canceled the show on the first night, it was amazing, and it had a great 80s theme and great 80s music. Definitely one of the coolest things I've seen on board any cruise ship, so I think that's definitely not to be missed. We did skip seeing Cats in the Royal Theater, but that's a Broadway caliber show available to those who enjoy that sort of thing. I am not going to be a Cats fan, so I did not go see Cats. Other than that, I was disappointed with how hard it was to see the ship's comedians. It was hosted in the Blaze nightclub, and it was super, super tiny, and that sold out instantly. You could only make these reservations once you got on board the ship, and we jumped on board way too late, around 1 p.m. to take advantage of that. So finally, let's talk cabin selection. For me, location of the cabin is super important on Oasis of the Seas, since it is such a large ship. The ship has tons of balcony cabins, but you gotta be careful when you're booking. So the inward-facing balconies on Central Park don't have any ocean views, and the boardwalk ones can get extremely loud in the evenings because it's right next to the Aqua Theater, and it's on that boardwalk. Both have limited privacy since there are balconies across from the deck that steer right into your cabin. Still, I'd probably prefer these to an interior cabin, but not to an ocean view without a balcony. Well, those are some of the things that you should know before sailing on Oasis of the Seas. As I said, check out the full tour of Oasis below for a full review of the sailing as well, and please subscribe to our channel. Happy travels!